Good morning, my dear students. Students, in the previous sessions, we have learned about what is judiciary, role of judiciary. We have discussed about independent judiciary and structure of courts with the help of Sudha Goyal's story. So, children, today in this session, we will discuss about different branches of legal system. So, children, now we will discuss about different branches of legal system. So there are two branches of legal system, that is criminal law and civil law. So children, first we will discuss about criminal law. So criminal law is the body of law that relates to crimes, or we can say it deals with conduct or acts that the law defines as offenses or crimes. So it achieves its objective through punishment. Children, basically there are two types of criminal laws: misdemeanors and felonies. Now a misdemeanor is an offense that is considered as a lower level criminal offense, such as theft cases, traffic offense, minor assaults, and felony crimes involves more serious offenses like murder. So children, now punishment will also vary. If a crime is lower level crime, punishment will be less. If a crime is serious crime, punishment will be more. Now in criminal cases, it usually begins with lodging of an FIR, that is first information report. It is generally by the affected party. So that person will file an FIR with the police. Police will then investigate the crime, and after that only the case will be filed in the court. Now children, as I have already discussed with you, it achieves its objective through punishment. We have also discussed that punishment will also vary. If it is a serious crime, punishment will be more, like murder. If it is a lower level crime, like theft, punishment will be less. And if a person is found guilty, the accused means the person who is found guilty can be sent to jail and also fined. For lower level crime, he will be fined. For serious crimes, he will be jailed. Children, now we will discuss about civil law. So civil law deals with civil cases. For example, domestic violence, dispute between two individuals, rent matters, divorce cases, property related cases, like we have discussed in previous chapter, that a politician has encroached the property of a farmer. So this is a dispute between individuals. So this is a civil case. Rent matters, like suppose if a landlord has given his house on rent to tenant, and if tenant is not vacating the house or not paying the rent, then landlord will file a case against tenant. So this is also a civil case. Now, civil cases generally they start with petition. Petition has to be filed. Petition means request filed before the relevant court by the affected party. So affected party will file the petition in the relevant court. So we have already discussed about rent matter. So in that case, landlord will file a case against a tenant. Now the court gives the specific relief asked for example, in this case, a case of landlord and a tenant, the court can order the tenant to vacate the flat or pay the pending rent to the landlord. So this kind of punishment may be given in case of civil laws. So we have learned about criminal cases, criminal law and civil law. Children, one more thing, like in criminal law cases, in criminal law, we have studied about Sudha Goyal. So it was a dowry death case which falls within what is considered as a crime against the society. So such type of cases will also comes under criminal law. So children, in the previous slide, we have discussed about the different branches of legal system. Now another most important question, does everyone have access to the courts? Of course, yes. All the citizens of India can access the courts in this country. Now, it implies that every citizen has a right to justice through the courts. Children, we have studied in chapter number 1 the Indian Constitution about the fundamental rights. So, it is one of the fundamental right, that is right to constitutional remedies, where if any citizen believes that their rights are being violated, they can approach the court for justice. So, courts are available for all, but in reality, access to courts has always been difficult for a vast majority of poor people in India. Children, we know that in India, more than 50% of the population is living below poverty line. And legal procedures involve lot of money. So it will be difficult for the poor people to afford to go to courts. And in India, illiteracy rate is very high. So especially for poor people who are living hand to mouth, education is again next important question. So for them, paperwork will be difficult as they cannot read. Now, legal procedures also involve lot of time. As poor people earning on daily basis, their family depends on daily wage. If they will not go for work even for a day, their family may not get 2 times meal in a day as they are living hand to mouth. So, as legal procedures involve lot of time, it will be difficult for the poor people to go to the court. So, the idea of going to the court to get justice often seems remote. Children, we have discussed that all citizens of India can access the courts in the country. But in reality, it is very difficult for the poor people to access the courts because of the legal process, which involves lot of money, time and paperwork. Children, we have already discussed about this in the previous slide. So now, in response to this, Supreme Court in the early 1980s, they have devised a mechanism of public interest litigation, or the short form of this is PIL, to increase access to justice. So, public interest litigation refers to litigation which is undertaken to secure public interest and to provide justice to socially disadvantaged parties. Now, PIL is used to give to the common people access to the courts to obtain justice. So, it is a very important instrument of social change and for maintaining rule of law. Children, we have discussed about rule of law. Means all people are equal before the law. So PIL is very important for maintaining the balance between law and justice, which allowed any individual or organization to file a PIL. Supreme Court allowed any individual or organization to file a PIL in the High Court or the Supreme Court on behalf of those whose rights were being violated. Children, we have discussed in fundamental right to constitutional remedies. If a person believes that if it is fundamental rights have been violated, he can approach the court. And he has a right to file PIL in any of the court, High Court or Supreme Court. Now we have also discussed about legal process. Like earlier it involved a lot of money, paperwork and time. And for poor people it was very difficult to access the courts because of these reasons. So now the legal process was greatly simplified. And now even a letter or telegram addressed to the Supreme Court or High Court could be treated as a PIL. Means lot of paperwork, time is not involved. Even a simple letter or telegram written to Supreme Court or High Court will be treated as a PIL, public interest litigation. In the early years, PIL was used to secure justice on large number of issues such as rescuing bonded laborers from inhuman work conditions. This means like in a factory or organization or in an industry where laborers have to sign a contract or bond for job. And once they have signed the contract or bond, in many of the industries or factories, the employers, they are taking advantage of this. They are exploiting the laborers. And the work conditions and the place and the environment in which they are working is very unhygienic. So, PIL was used to secure justice on these kind of issues. and also securing the release of prisoners in Bihar who had been kept in jail even after their punishment term was over. Now, in this case, the prisoners in Bihar, they have filed an PIL to Supreme Court. So this way PIL was used for number of issues. Even we have very good example of midday meal program. The concept of providing, which means the concept of providing meals to students, and it was first introduced in the year 1995 in Tamil Nadu in India. And later on it was followed by Gujarat, Kerala and other states. So children, in the previous slides we have seen that all the citizens of India can access the courts in the country. That every citizen has a right to justice through the courts. Children, we have also seen for a poor person who cannot read and whose family depends on a daily wage, the idea of going to court to get justice seems remote. So, in response to this, the Supreme Court in the early 1980s, they have devised the mechanism of PIL to increase access to justice. So, for a common person, to access to courts means to get a justice. So, we can see that courts play a very important role in providing the fundamental rights of the citizen. And we have also learned about one of the most important fundamental right, that is the right to constitutional remedies, where if a person feels that if its fundamental rights have been violated, he has the right to approach the court. So now, in the above case, the courts interpreted Article 21 of the Constitution on the right to life, which also includes the right to food. Now, right to life means Article 21 states that no person shall be deprived of his life or personal liberty. So, this article mentions two basic things: life and personal liberty. So, right to life, it also includes the right to food. So, therefore, it ordered the state to take certain steps to provide food for all, including midday meal scheme. So, midday meal scheme was one of the steps taken by the government to provide food to all so that they should not be deprived of food. Children, we have discussed the role of judiciary in democratic country like India. So judiciary plays a very important role in resolving the disputes between citizens and the government, between two state governments, and between center and the state governments. So second most important role played by the judiciary is judicial review, which means it has the power to strike down particular laws passed by the parliament if it believes that these laws are against the basic structure of the constitution. Now, another most important function of judiciary is upholding the law and enforcing fundamental rights. Means judiciary play a very important role in protecting the fundamental rights of citizens. Children, now there are also court judgments which people believe they are against the best interest of the common person. Means they are not in the favor of the common person. For example, activists who work on issues concerning the right to shelter and housing for the poor, they believe that the recent judgments given by the courts on evictions, they are not in the favor of the common person. Whereas the recent judgments, they view slum dweller as an encroacher in the city. Now, encroacher in the city means these people have captured illegally some area and they are living on that area illegally. Now, earlier judgments like 1985 Olga Teles versus Bombay Municipal Corporation established the right to livelihood as a part of the right to life. And the judgments given by the court, they tried to protect the livelihoods of slum dwellers. And this is also fact. If Bombay Municipal Corporation will destroy these slum areas, though they have illegally captured those areas, but people are living in those slum areas. And if Bombay Municipal Corporation will suddenly destroy those areas, the people will lose their jobs. The people will lose their livelihood. And we have seen in Article 21, right to life includes the right to livelihood. So taking a shelter from these people means taking their life, taking their livelihood. Children, but in spite of all these things, we cannot deny this fact that judiciary plays a very important role in democratic country like India. They serve as a check on the powers of executive and the legislature. They play a very important role in protecting the fundamental rights of the citizens. Now we have also discussed about independent judiciary. That judiciary will function properly only when it is independent. Means it should not be interfered by other organs of the state like government, like executive, legislature. So one of the most important aspect of independence is separation of powers, where other organs of the state will not interfere in the functioning of judiciary. So independent judiciary is a key feature of our democracy. Children, now quickly we will revise few terms from the chapter. Judicial system means a mechanism of courts that a citizen can approach when a law is violated. Children, we have learned in fundamental right, that is right to constitutional remedies, where a person has a right to approach to the court if they believe their fundamental rights have been violated. Now another term is appeal. We have discussed that if a person believes that the judgment given by the lower court is not appropriate, or they have not got justice in the lower court, they have a right to appeal in the higher court. They have a right to file a petition before a higher court. Judicial review, children, we have just now discussed about judicial review. The judiciary has the power to modify or cancel particular laws passed by the parliament if they are not following the basic structure of the constitution. So it has power to strike down the laws passed by the parliament if they are not following the basic structure of the constitution. So this is called judicial review. Now another important term is acquit. The court declaring that a person is not guilty of the crime which she was tried for by the court. About independent judiciary, we have just now discussed. It means that judiciary is not under the government and does not act on its behalf. That is, other organs of the state will not interfere in the work of judiciary. Now we have also discussed about PIL, which stands for Public Interest Litigation, and it has been devised by Supreme Court to facilitate justice so that every person can access the courts. Thank you, children. I hope you have understood the chapter. Stay home, stay safe.